The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Gilbert, Arizona, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32773. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your vehicle with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new vehicle. Starting up in the very center, you'll find 2 windshield wipers across your split windshield. Moving to the outer edge, you'll find your mirror, which houses a flat mirror on the lower section and a convex mirror on the very top. Moving to the center, just below the brow of the apparatus, you'll find a forward-facing floodlight. Just up onto the top of the brow, you'll find 5 running lights. Moving up onto the roof of the apparatus is where you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Inside the light bar is where you'll find your Opticom system located directly in the center. Let's move down to the side of the apparatus where you'll find a side-facing camera. Moving to the very rear of the front door is where you'll find an access for your air filter system. Moving just above that, you'll find an AM/FM antenna. Just to the rear of the antenna above the Bravest logo is where you'll find your side-facing scene light. Moving all the way to the very back section of the cab wall, you'll find your water tank level indicator, and then directly above that and below that, you'll find emergency warning side-facing scene lights. Moving now down to the bumper, you'll find dual air horns located under the face of the front bumper. You'll also find 2 open-ended tow hooks located just underneath the bumper attached to the frame rail. On the outer edges, you'll find, including the center, you'll find your emergency warning sirens and also PA speakers. Moving up onto the top of the bumper extension, you'll find 2 D handles to gain access inside the bumper load. Onto the face of the body, you'll find 2 forward-facing on the lower section emergency warning lights, and on the outer edge you'll find a marker turn indicator along with your headlight cluster low and high beams. Just above that, you'll find emergency warning lights. As we look inside the bumper extension, you'll find 2 locations for hose storage, one in the very front and then just to the rear of that. These are both 1.5-inch swivel discharges. The lid is attached with a piano hinge and also a gas strut. Moving to the passenger side, you'll find an emergency warning light. Inside that emergency warning light cover is where you'll find the cab lift operations. There is a red raise and lower. There are also warning and caution labels within this area. At the very top, you'll find the lock release button. You'll need to hold that switch until the cab lowers. Moving to the right, once again, the lower and raise red switch, and then down at the very bottom, you'll find the activate. The black section here, plug, is for the remote. Let's move now to the side of the apparatus where you'll find a pan door just above the above the front tire is where you'll find this access for your filter change. You'll also find on the driver's side a short inlet 20 amp auto eject plug. Just beneath that in blue, the air conditioning 20 amp auto eject plug. As we move through some of the compartments, we'll identify some of those things within those compartments. Look now to the crosslays. There is a number 1 and also a 2.5-inch crosslay. They are both color-coded and also labeled. As we move down, we'll start at the very top in the pump panel area, first starting with this reminder of a warning, entanglement hazard. To the right, there is a warning regarding fall injury and not to ride on the side of the apparatus. We do have a warning regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards while removing them. Also, only trained personnel should operate this equipment only after receiving proper training. To the right for your foam system, this is a warning label not to mix different brands and consistencies. We're back up to the top now. This is your pump intake, large diameter pump intake. This is the master gauge for that.
As we look to the right, you'll find your pump discharge. This is once again the master gauge for your pump discharge. To the right, you'll find a water level indicator. Moving further to the right, you'll find a transmission temperature. Moving to the lower section of that, just outside of the gray area, you'll find a transmission oil temperature. This is a warning indicator. And then we'll move now to the engine information. This is the gray area placard. We'll start with the oil temperature on the left-hand side. Moving to the right, you'll find the water temperature. Down in the lower section is the volts. And then further to the right on the opposite side, you'll find your fuel gauge. Located directly in the center is your tachometer. Let's go through a few of those items that we identify. First at the top, we have a check transmission. This would be an amber indicator. There are also oil, stop engine, and also battery. Those are all red indicators, along with the water temperature. We do have check engine and fuel, which would be amber indicators. Down in the lower section, you'll find an audible alarm. The outer bezel does dampen the sound level. As we move down to the next section, you'll find your discharges clearly marked and color-coded. As we move to the upper right corner, you'll find your test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. Moving further to the right, you'll find your primer for your fire pump with a note below that at least 1,000 RPMs are necessary. All the way to the right, the black module here is your throttle pressure governor. Just beneath that, you'll find the tank fill. And then as we move further down, you'll find the red section, which is your foam system. The module on the left-hand side is the control module, and then to the right, you'll find your module indicating the foam level within the foam tank. We do have some switches across this area. We'll cover those in just a moment. I have a close-up of those. Moving to the right, we have your pump drain. Moving further to the right, we have two. There is a twist, not pull. This is your engine cooler and recirculating line. Moving all the way down, you'll find your TFT. This is the control module for that master stream device. We do have a large diameter passenger side. It is a wheel valve for opening and is green in color. As we move, there are three 2.5-inch discharges clearly marked. And all the way to the very far right is where you'll find the tank to pump. You'll also find two placards here. We'll discuss those later in the video. These are your minimum operation maintenance schedule. The Pierce logo American flag eagle is your large diameter pump intake. And to the very far right, this is your foam auxiliary inlet and also drain. As we're back now to the foam system, we'll talk a little bit about some of the items within there. The red button is the on. You have a page, foam prime, enter, and then increase or decrease. As we look to your TFT monitor operation station, clearly identifiable instructions on it. As we move to the left, we have driver side scene light, passenger side scene light, panel light, pump maintenance light, a spare, in addition with your rear scene light, and also a green indicator that your pump has been engaged properly from when you exited the cab. Just a quick visualization of the lower section. Let's move down further where you'll find your 2.5-inch driver side auxiliary inlet. This is a female inlet ball valve. As we move to the pan door, you'll find your foam operations. There are instructions on the door. Difficult to see in the image. In the upper corner is the yellow handle for foam operations. Just beneath the panel, you'll find your rewind. This is a foot pedal. And you'll find your foam pump drain discharge and also foam pump intake drain. As we move overhead, just a quick view of the top section here. You can see your booster line at the very top. Also, you have your department name on the side of the vehicle. Let's move up into the dunnage area where we'll find our hydraulic oil. There is a sight gauge located where the arrow is indicating. Further into the dunnage area, you'll find an access point and also LED lighting and also work lights within this area. Let's look forward of the cab section where you'll find these warning labels regarding this is not a walking surface. That's what those labels are for. Located in the very top, you'll find your air conditioning with the protective shroud. Moving now just back to the body area, you'll find an access point for A, which stands for your foam A. This is your water fill tank, which is a blue tank. As you can see underneath, this is the green tank, which indicates this is your A foam tank. General view here of the ladder. As we move down, let's move into the compartments now. Let's first start with the compartment on the driver's side. In the upper left-hand corner is where you'll find, when plugged into shore power, should activate your auto charging system. As we move just in front of and rear of the rear tires, you'll find bottle storage locations. There are 3 on the driver's side. We also have a combination DEF blue tank, 4.5 US gallons. When you move the flap upward, it exposes the silver diesel fuel, ultra low sulfur. Moving now just over the compartment over the rear tire, you'll find an SCBA storage location, adjustable shelving, and LED lighting in all of your compartments. General view here of the side of the apparatus and rear. Let's now move to the rear section of the apparatus and identify a few items here. Let's first start with some switches. You have a rear scene light and a work light. Moving up to the very top, you can see at the lower section of the step, you have a 10-foot folding ladder and also long tool storage. As we move to the rear section roll-up door, you'll find adjustable shelving and also fold-down steps. This compartment also houses your air compressor, which maintains air pressure within your brake system. As we move to the passenger side of the vehicle, you'll find additional storage locations. We do have across the top your hose bed, which is clearly identified for the types of hoses that you'll be carrying. There is also a storage compartment for backboard storage on the passenger side. Let's move now to the side passenger area. This D handle gains access to the toolbar. When the toolbar is fully extended in the open position, there is a release mechanism on the hinge side. As we move to the side area, you'll also find bottle storage locations on this side, in addition with your equipment rack hydraulic reservoir. As we move to the center compartment, you can see open here, adjustable shelving and LED lighting just above the rear tire and emergency side warning light. I would like to point out the lower instance of this picture. There is a warning regarding extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures. Be cautious where you park your vehicle. You do have a nice cutout on the side, Gilbert Fire Department, and also 1923 established. Let's move now to the side panel where you'll find your powered equipment rack. You do have a danger label here. There are specific instructions for raising and also lowering. In the upper corner, you'll find the master on-off, which provides power to the system. And then you'll also find a lift up or down, and then a green indicator when you're actually switched on the master switch. To the right and left, you'll find 2 pan access points. These are for behind the panel. One of them houses the water strainer. The other provides access behind the pump panel to additional modules. Let's take a quick look at the pump panel. We'll find 2 2.5-inch discharges located on this side. As we move through, we'll also find the Pierce logo American flag eagle. It is your large diameter pump intake. The green, which as we indicated earlier, this is your large diameter discharge. Also inside the pan door, you'll find your intake relief valve setting. Down at the lower section, we'll find all your associated drains, which are color-coded and also labeled. Moving to the right, you'll find your passenger side auxiliary inlet. Once again, this is a ball valve, 2.5-inch female inlet. As we move forward, you'll find additional LED lighting and also ventilation within those compartments. As we move inside the cab, we'll identify a few things within this area. First, let's start overhead with the fan speed and air conditioning unit. We'll go ahead and move now to the center section. You do have 2 12-volt access points on either side, in addition with radio storage locations for charging systems. Underneath that is where you'll find the engine oil check and also transmission checks for your daily operations. Next to the operator, you'll find this flip up, which will gain access to all of your fuses for your apparatus. Behind the seat, you'll find the EQ2B. This is your federal siren module. As we move forward, you'll find at all points of entry additional warning labels. In addition, your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, an airbag in the front, and be cautious when mounting equipment. On the left-hand side of the dash, you'll find a push button for your air horn. You'll also find a 12-volt access point. This is USB style, air conditioning vents, and then also your go light, which is controlled by turning on the switch on the right and the joystick controls on the left. As we move to the center section, you'll find a push-to-talk for your SETCOM headset, and then tucked away up in the corner here, this is going to be an interface module for your vehicle data recorder. Looking overhead, we've got a set of switches and also a CD player, AM/FM. Let's first start with the set of switches, starting in the upper left with a emergency master, some future switch locations, front scene, driver's side scene, passenger side scene, and rear scene lights. When those lights have been activated, they will change color, indicating that they are on. Moving to the right, you'll find your heavy-duty Jensen radio. It's a CD player. It also has an auxiliary inlet. Located overhead, you'll also find your unit radio. Moving down lower, you'll find flat mirror control and also convex mirror control and also cup holders. As we move to the driver's area, once again at points of entry, we have these warning labels for your personal safety. We also have some information here regarding exhaust and then also the use of seat belts. Your seat belts are red in color for easy identifying if individuals have their seat belts on. At about the right ankle of the operator, you'll find this manufactured by Pierce Manufacturing for the town of Gilbert. This has the gross vehicle weight rating, job number, VIN number, in addition with all of your fluid capacities, components, fluid capacity types, and also cold tire inflation. As we move just under the seat area on this pedestal, you'll find the air inlet gauge. To the right, a air chuck for that air inlet. And then when plugged into shore power, your auto charging system will activate, indicating the battery level. Moving to the floor, you'll find 2 foot pedals, the air horn and also mechanical siren. Just up at about the left knee, you'll find 2 modules here. One is a driver's side display, and the green is going to be your ABS engine diagnostic. To the left, you'll find an audible alarm. Outer bezel does change the volume sound. Moving further up, you'll find the master battery switch. This is in red, quarter turn. And to the right, you'll find your pump shift. There are instructions for moving from road to pump and from pump to road. You do need 2 green indicators when exiting the cab for proper pumping engagement. As we look to the center here of the operation center for the operator, let's take a quick look. On the left of this image, you'll find the Allison transmission pad with an indication to pump and drive. You'll also find your traffic advisor control just to the right of that location. I would like to point out your pull to apply your system parking brake and also push to release. It is the yellow knob on the right. Your vehicle is equipped with a retarder. It does have an on-off switch and also an auto apply, DPF regen inhibit, an SRS fault, that's an indicator, and also off-road traction. Just below that, your siren control. There is climate control for heating and air conditioning. As we look to the right side of the steering column, you'll find your load manager, OK to engage the high idle, the actual high idle switch, and then an auto lube fault. Moving to the left of the column, we'll find the panel dim rocker switch, headlights, ignition, and also start switch. Let's move overhead of the operator. You'll find a set of switches here. We'll go over those starting with the emergency master in red on the left. This will turn on all of your emergency lights, electronic siren, front scene, rear scene. The next section down, you have driver's side scene and passenger side scene, and 2 future switch locations if necessary. These are memory switches, so they are programmable. Moving just to the right of that, you'll find a siren brake for your mechanical siren, your Opticom switch, high beam flash, roof light, front warning, side warning, lower rear warning, and upper rear warning. Moving to the right of that, you'll find the siren control module and also the PA speaker system. Let's move overhead of the dash. I would like to point out this red light indicating not to move your apparatus if it's flashing. You do have a compartment door open or a door ajar. Let's move to the dash, an important placard. Height 11 feet 2 inches, length 34 feet 6 inches, and gross vehicle weight rating 50,000 pounds. This is also the location of your job number, as the placard has that same information. If you make any changes to your vehicle, please update this placard. A couple more important placards. This is on the pump panel. This is your minimum operation maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 psi. On the left are the associated GPMs, and on the right are the RPMs. This is when it was tested at Pierce Manufacturing. This is a job number 32773. You'll also find this placard on the pump panel. This is the type of pump that you have, which is a Watrous CSU. It does have the date of manufacture, December of 2019, and its capacity of 2,000 GPM. Here are some additional images of your apparatus for your convenience. Just take a quick look. Would like to say thank you for taking the time to view this video. If you have any questions regarding your vehicle, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.